Welcome back to another episode of Palisade Radio. This is your host, Colin Cattell, and back on the program with us, well-known in the industry, Brent Cook. He's an economic geologist and co-author of Exploration Insights. Brent, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you, Colin.
Well, I did see you at the Beaver Creek Conference in Beaver Creek outside of Denver just a couple weeks ago. That's definitely a particular slice of the industry, if you will, in terms of the crowd it attracts. But what did you find the sentiment was like there?
That is probably one of the best venue, I guess, for up-and-coming discoveries and resource plays in the industry. It's a pretty high-quality level of companies there, as well as you get institutional investors. And what has really hit me is that over the past 2 to 3 years, we've seen more and more corporate delegates there, the geologists, the M&A teams, that sort of thing. And speaking with many of the companies there, what I'm finding, and this is kind of what we've been talking about in Exploration Insights for a couple of years, is that they're increasingly eager or even desperate to get involved in earlier and earlier stage exploration projects. That comes about because basically they're mining more than, on the whole, they're finding, and they need to get back into the game.
Well, Brent, as the name of your publication would suggest, Exploration Insights, you are very focused on the exploration part of the business, and that historically is where the biggest returns can be made for investors. Let's talk kind of from top down first, the state of the exploration industry. What kind of trends are you seeing? How much money is there? Or is enough exploration being done?
It's sort of a unique situation in that, on the whole, the junior mining and exploration sector has been pretty dismal this year. But when a company announces what looks like could be a discovery, a lot of attention gets paid, and these companies will go up by 50 to 100 to 200%. And good projects are not having much trouble raising money. Now, a lot of that money is not necessarily coming from institutions or retail side of things. A lot of that money is coming from, again, the major mining companies that are putting money into projects or companies or joint ventures. You take someone like Newcrest Mining out of Australia, which is a major mining company. They put $19 million into a company we own called Azucar with a copper-gold project in Mexico. They're putting money into joint ventures with Mirasol, another company we own in Chile. They put money into Sol Gold, active in Ecuador, and they put money up into British Columbia as well. So there's a number of companies like that that are advancing their exploration via projects with junior exploration companies. For them, it makes a lot more sense to set up an exploration office and team, et cetera, in Ecuador or Chile or wherever where you're not active. It's much cheaper and more effective to go via a junior company that's active there and knows the ropes.
Looking at the kind of recent past, the influx of majors investing in juniors seems to be surging, and that makes sense based on the cutbacks they had to make at the top back in 2011, 2012, and as things came down. But you've been around for several cycles. Is this strategy of majors investing in these cream-of-the-crop explorers anything new? What's kind of different this time around?
It's happened all along, but I think the new part is that over the past, in the industry as a whole, we're losing top talent. Either they're retiring or they're tired of the cycles of being hired and then laid off, the instability, that sort of thing. So there's a dearth of qualified people in the age group from 40 to 50, probably actually 30 to 50. And that age group has not, they've left the industry. So that's what the majors really need. Those are the people they need to go out and find new projects and do the exploration work. And so they're having to go down to the junior companies that have those people.
Yeah, well, it makes perfect sense, and like you said, a major mining company can't be focusing their efforts on the odds of trying to find one mineral deposit in what they say is it takes thousands of exploration programs to find. I guess next question for you is, you're obviously focused on where the best exploration dollars are being spent, and hence how do investors maximize their gains when investing in exploration. Where are you looking to do that?
Almost anywhere in the world. There's obviously places we won't go, but certainly the well-known belts, the Andes up into parts of Central America, the western U.S., Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, British Columbia, the Yukon, Alaska. We'll jump over to parts of the Carpathian belt, the Tethyan belt in Eastern Europe, parts of Africa. So we're sort of agnostic as long as we can see that if a major mining company is willing to put their money into it, we're probably okay with the jurisdiction.
And in terms of the type of opportunities that you're looking for, I know that, of course, you're always looking for the best management teams. Without good management, there's no execution to be had. But what other kind of ingredients are you looking for when you're selecting something potentially for your portfolio?
Our primary goal is to identify an exploration project and team early on in the discovery history and ride that, hopefully, to an acquisition by a major. And so the criteria is, number one, it has to be a district scale opportunity. It's not just one little mine somewhere. We want something that's a district scale where a major can come in and see some sort of defined resource and be willing to pay a premium for that resource, given that the district has not been explored and they can expect additional discoveries and resources as they work the property. So it's got to be district scale. It's got to be something that is economic. We're looking for projects that their costs are in the lower third of the industry average. Again, that's what the majors want. And I guess really after that it comes down to the people running the project. We want people running it that know the type of geology, know the systems, know the jurisdiction, and have some sense of what the economics behind any discovery might be.
Brent, this is a bit of a tricky question, but any exploration project inevitably has more risk initially and should become de-risked as you find out more about the potential deposit and, as you just stated, the economics of that potential deposit. What's kind of the spot in that company formation that you're looking for, or are you looking for something that you and your team can already say that's a deposit or that will be a deposit, and the market is simply not recognizing it yet?
I guess all aspects of that, and we'll take a position in anything from companies just getting started with an idea, all the way up until someone who's defining a resource or has a resource that we think a major is going to acquire. On the very, very early end of it, we bought into a company called Evrim Resources, EVM. It was just an idea, really. They do joint ventures, generate ideas, bring in partners. They've stumbled across a project in Mexico called Quale that, just based on the initial rock sampling, followed by trench sampling, they seem to be on to a project that looks, it's got the potential to produce a multi-million-ounce deposit. So much so that Newmont Mining came in by a placement, giving them $7 million with no real clause into the project, just to get involved in it. So that's the sort of thing we're looking for, and this hasn't been drilled yet. Yet we show over 1,000% gain on this already, and we're still holding. So that's the sort of early stage project we're looking for. Another company, Mirasol, has done the same in Chile with Newcrest and Yamana, where it's again early stage conceptual ideas, soil sampling, geophysics. The scale of what they're looking for, if they're successful, is massive. That's our upside.
during this flat period we've been going through, or down period in the gold equity market, it's certainly been a market where the only driver has been discoveries, and I can think of several. I mean, the most recent that people have been talking about, of course, is RNX, and we had Novo a couple of years ago, and in between several stories. But the driver of a bull market where a lot of things move is, of course, the gold price itself. And gold prices have been fairly stagnant and down. Where do you kind of expect that market is at this point?
Well, I mean, this isn't my area of expertise. There's 100 people out there with different opinions, all of them just opinions. But what I'm getting the sense is that we're in a bottoming process, and I anticipate gold to slowly rise over the coming few years, assuming there's no disaster precipitated by whatever Trump does.
Okay, well, that's certainly a good answer. I want to ask you, you did mention Mirasol and Evrim as a couple companies, but people are always interested to see what it is that you're looking at. If there's any other companies that you can discuss and go into a bit of detail on, that would be great.
Well, those certainly are two companies that we own and have a lot of respect for. I'll give you another odd one, EMX Royalty. This is just a project generator group. They very solid technical team. They generate ideas and bring in partners and maintain an interest. They put money into a private company in Siberia that has a massive copper deposit discovery, really, and they drilled it out, and they negotiated a deal whereby they're going to get I think 67 million US for this project once it's sold. And assuming that sale goes ahead, you've got a company with a market cap right now of, let me see what that is, 126 million. It's going to get a 60 to 70 million cash input into it. That's the sort of thing that I think, if that happens, that's pretty easy win.
Yeah, and I actually got to meet with EMX at the Beaver Creek Conference. I met with David, the CEO, and Chris, who works with them. It's such a brilliant and sustainable model if you can properly execute on kind of that long-term prospect generation, and it only takes one big win, like you just pointed out, for something like that to really take off. Brent, before I let you go, just any other kind of insights overall on the industry at the moment, or things you're looking to see happening?
Well, I think really, in terms of speculators in this industry, especially retail speculators, it's really, really important to know what a company is looking for and have a sense of what the economics are behind it. And our job, Joe and I at Exploration Insights, is we're always looking for the fatal flaw. And we've made really good money on companies buying in early, following in detail, but recognizing somewhere along the road up that there's a fatal flaw here that's going to kill this project. And there usually is. I mean, we know the odds are real low. So it's important to follow the companies, know what's going on, and recognize that fatal flaw ahead of the market, and you still get a win out of it. So that's my advice. And we've got on our website a number of free articles that your listeners are all welcome to.
Well, I'm sure that you make a lot of friends when you initially write companies up, and some sour enemies from the companies when you let them know that they're going to be sold. But that's your job, and you are one of the few people who actually will do that, and why you're so respected in the industry. So anybody looking for more info on Brent, and the website is explorationinsights.com, and Brent and Joe both do excellent work, so I would encourage everybody to go visit. Brent, thank you so much for coming back on the program with us.
Thank you, Colin. I appreciate the opportunity.
think you understand the junior mining sector and you think that the participants in the mining sector, junior mining sector, are good people and kind people, hit the bid.
How violent that term could be, it actually could be quite violent. It could be a rip-your-face-off uranium rally.
And the world is always going to need raw materials. It's going to need copper and gold and nickel and so forth.
Totally destabilized. Hey, Troll, did you hear what's going on in Yemen?